Hello and welcome back to Amazing Chest and to another episode of Save the Princes, where the twins are in danger and Lothric Castle is under siege. The rules are simple. If Lothric dies or any of the challengers make it into the throne room, then the defending team loses. Alternatively, if a team loses all of its members, then that team loses. If I die, then my team loses, and the first team to make it to 2 wins is declared the victor. This time around, the home team is a little bit different. We have a variety of Lothric Castle natives, including royal knights of all shapes and sizes, Lothric Castle priests, 2 pilgrim butterflies, and of course the Dragonslayer Armor himself. Since I am playing as a Dragonslayer, I won't be using any healing items, which means I'll have to rely on our priest to heal us whenever we do need it. Just like last time, the goal is to stop that group of winged knights from killing me or Lorien, and as a reminder, the princes will be helping us fight as they slowly make their way towards the battlefield. This means we'll have to stop the invasion quickly to keep the princes out of danger. Now, there's a lot weighing on this battle, because in the game's lore, the Winged Knights and the Lothric Knights are engaged in a civil war, and it's all because the Winged Knights followed Gertrude, who Lothric locked away in the Grand Archives. Let's figure out who would win this fight if they ever storm the castle. So it's a pretty even fight. There's about 20 of us and 20 of them, and after killing quite a few of them, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this item and... Wait a second, what is this?
I think those are the new GMG optimizers.
You mean those glasses that filter out blue light and prevent eye strain?
I forgot my lines.
You're supposed to say yes. All jokes aside, ever since this channel has started to grow, I found myself spending more and more time behind screens, whether that's for work or because I'm editing videos. If you throw gaming or TV into the mix, then I'm at a solid 16 hours. All of these devices we're using throughout the day produce blue light, which if we're overexposed to can cause eye strain, headaches, and I don't know if it's just me, but I start to look like him. I used to use blue light filtering programs to get around this issue, but that causes my screen to look really warm and ugly, and if I were to ever record gameplay with that filter on, my videos will come out like this. Ever since I've started using these glasses, I've been able to work longer without having to take breaks for eye strain, which is why you guys are lucky enough to get 3 videos in 1 week. If you act quickly, then you can catch the Christmas sale on their website, which has their most popular glasses for 40% off, and when you do buy a pair, they'll come with this really cool magnetic case. Click the link in the description to pick yourself up a pair, and while you're at it, grab him a pair too. The fight begins, and my first instinct is to swing into this crowd and to hit as many knights as possible in one swing, but I quickly realize that this is a terrible idea when 3 or 4 of them start attacking my shield all at once. At this point, I'm forced to run back toward my clerics and start shielding them with hopes that someone will cast Great Heal, and the knights breach the bridge's halfway point pretty early in the fight. This usually signifies a loss in these simulations, but I get really lucky and I catch a heal from a cleric in the fray. The 10% bonus from Sacred Oath is going to help out our damage a lot, since the Winged Knights have some pretty respectable defenses versus the Dragonslayer's damage types. And if you're curious what the difference is between the Ascended and the regular Winged Knights, it's mainly that the Ascended ones are 20% weaker to Dark, probably because they're angels. I always find it interesting when FromSoft ties in the game's lore into the actual enemy stats. Everything else though, barring HP of course, is purely identical, which means that the basic Winged Knights, on paper at least, have better damage absorptions than their superiors. The Ascended Knights make up for this in more ways than one though, with their expanded moveset and their mobility. Lorien does eventually reach the bottom of the staircase, and I'm a bit worried here since there are still so many of them left. His HP drops down to about half before a cleric kills him completely, and I'm able to start shield bashing the ones on top of him. This is really good for staggering them, but the damage is abysmal though, because the Winged Knights have some of the best strike defense out of every knight in the entire game. Once I finish him off, I'm going to head over to the 2 in the corner, and after taking out one, Lorien finally arrives and I decide to let him do the rest. Wait, hold on a second, he might actually die here. For round 2, I decided to play a little bit more defensively. You can see the main difference between these guys and the last invading team is that these knights are much scarier in groups. If at any point more than one of them uses the Beyblade spin, then it's basically an instant death for whoever is in their way. And if you ever manage to get surrounded by them, their large enemy models make it very hard to escape, and we're going to see that happen a little bit later in this video. After taking quite a bit of damage, I'm going to chill next to one of these clerics in hopes of catching a heal, And when I finally do get one, I make my way over to the staircase to help out the princes. Even though it's only one, based on what we saw in the first round, I'm not taking any chances. The infamous scraping move from the Dragonslayer Armor run makes a return here, and it is super satisfying to hit multiple knights with it. Now that I'm looking back, guys should have taken more advantage of whenever they use Divine Pillars of Light, since they're susceptible to backstabs during the animation. That miracle, by the way, is in the same realm as Way of White Corona and Emit Force, in that they all inflict physical damage. I always thought it did magic damage, but nope, it's entirely physical. Anyway, remember what I said earlier about getting surrounded by these guys? Well, committing to a weapon art gets me absolutely destroyed. In the tiebreaker, my plan this time is to run back immediately so that I can start off the battle with the Sacred Oath spell, as opposed to hopefully having it cast on me later in the round. Once I finally do have it, you can see the difference it makes right away. My team is doing a decent job of holding them off, but it's really evident that they're not going to last long, so I'm going to go for a weapon art here to draw their attention, and it works to an extent. Now that they're looking at me, I can run back into the crowd to keep them away from the healers in the back. Here, they almost surround me again, and I have to move the camera into a bird's eye view just to see what's going on. By this point, you're probably wondering, where are the Pilgrim Butterflies? And I had the same question. This is where they finally start contributing to the fight, and it's a shame that their AI is so inconsistent, because their attacks inflict fire and dark damage, which, if you'll remember from earlier, is the Winged Knight's biggest weakness. If they weren't so passive, I feel like they could have really helped out. About halfway through the battle, our clerics are doing a phenomenal job of supporting the team and staying alive themselves. Without their miracles, this is definitely a clean sweep for the invading team. I'm sure you guys probably feel the same way watching this, but the Winged Knight model size makes it incredibly difficult to tell what's going on, and this certainly plays into their advantage, because without proper visibility, I can't tell who needs help. Knowing this, I decided to just fall back and stick by Lorien, and this is where things start to fall apart. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but this Lothric Knight is running for his life, and he is perfectly content letting his prince and the rest of the team die. I blame this episode's loss entirely on him. This man should be executed. Now that we know what it's like to defend, let's see how easy it is to invade while playing as the Winged Knight. The fight starts, and I decide to go right for the Dragonslayer because I know he's the home team's biggest threat, and the flying attacks on our moveset make avoiding him a walk in the park. While he's using his weapon art on my team, I can't resist going for the Beyblade attack, so I use it, and just like that, the Dragonslayer Armor is no more. Of course, now that I'm on the invading team, the butterflies finally start attacking, but that doesn't prevent me from using the Divine Pillars of Light to eviscerate multiple members of the opposing team. This cleric here is the unfortunate recipient of a spin attack. We can't have him going for any heals, so he's gotta go. As fun as this attack is to use, it's really hard to aim, so the cleric is going to get a heal off while I fly over his head repeatedly. Eventually I finally do hit him though, and once Lorien reaches the bottom of the staircase, for round 2 as the invading team, I went ahead and multiplied the Dragonslayer's HP by 10 since he died so quickly last time. Rather than fight him though, I'm just going to let my team take care of that. I'm going to focus on the backline, which is where all the healers are, because the last thing we want is a bulky Dragonslayer getting any bulkier from heals or Sacred Oaths. After rejoining my team, we're slowly but surely making our way through. You can see some of the Lothric Knights hanging out in the background in case I decide to overextend again. Once my HP gets low, I'm going to go for Divine Pillars of Light so that I can safely pressure the Knights without putting myself in any danger. And that's when Lothric finally reaches the bottom of the staircase. All things considered, I think it's safe to say that the Winged Knights would probably crush Lothric if they ever invaded the capital. While Lothric's team did have the edge where variety was concerned, the Winged Knights are true specialists. They didn't need any clerics, Dragonslayers, or butterflies because they do what they do really well. They take hits and they spin. Now that we know what would happen if the Winged Knights invaded, there is one other scenario I wanted to explore. In the game's lore, it's widely accepted that Pontiff Sulyvahn convinced Prince Lothric to abandon his duty as the Lord of Cinder. So what if he came to help Lothric while the castle was under siege? They'd probably still lose.